Like pixels on a screen, these are the games of our lives. It's the 7th episode of the Games of Our Lives, and Mike's not feeling well, so this whole thing could just be a fever dream. Hey Mike, how's it going?
Not bad right now. I'll let you know if that changes.
Okay, how was your sabbatical?
Oh, it was good. It was work though, so unfortunately I didn't get to play as much as I wanted.
Okay, well, let's ask the big question on the board. Mike, what have you been playing this week?
So I finished the Zelda game that I had in my DS. So I actually went to a store to buy a video game, which is a very old-fashioned sentence.
Oh, what kind of store did you go to?
It was a store that only sold video games.
A gaming stop, perhaps? Maybe a Babbage's?
That was exactly it. And anyway, I ended up buying... I needed a DS game for the aeroplane. And I ended up getting Kirby Triple Deluxe.
Okay.
So, I don't know if you've followed the Kirby games at all.
They seem confusing to me.
It's weird, because Nintendo tries some new stuff with them. Like, they'll try to make new and unique-looking games. But at the heart, they're still just kids' platformers.
Okay.
So I played, I was really excited, and this is sort of one of the reasons I maybe don't get excited for video games anymore. I was really excited for Kirby Epic Yarn. Oh god.
Yeah, I've seen
that. Did I just
game.
say that out loud?
Yeah, you did.
Oh man.
And it's on the internet forever.
This is probably only the third or fourth most embarrassing thing I've admitted to so far in this podcast. Anyway.
It's good for the soul.
Yeah, it's a good cleansing. Get it all out there. Epic Yarn was an okay game. Looked gorgeous, but I paid full price for a Wii game. That wasn't a Zelda or a Mario. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. Kirby Triple Deluxe. It's a 3DS. It's old school. It's you swallow enemies, you eat them, you steal their soul.
Is it a new game or a rehashing of an older game?
I believe it's new, although great question because I'm never sure with these games.
Yeah, because whenever I see a Kirby game that's 2D and not the weird like fabric and material stuff. They always seem like the same games.
No, you're right, and I think probably 60% of the genre is a remake of Kirby's Adventure.
But are you enjoying it, seeing as you are apparently a Kirby fan?
Yeah, I am. The last Kirby game I played on DS was Kirby Canvas Curse. I don't know if you remember that game.
Yeah, that was like one of the marquee games for that system, the DS, because it fully utilized the touchscreen.
Yeah, and I really don't know what game I'd say would use the stylus better. I mean, it's a phenomenal game if you ever get a chance to play it. But this one is more the standard platformer. The old school kind of cutesy Kirby.
Okay.
I'd have to look at the cover though. I don't know because you know how they always have the angry Kirby on the American releases.
Yeah, that is some weird stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, all right. Yeah, he's very angry on the cover. I just fished out the cover.
He's got angry eyes.
And so they also this is I don't know, for some reason this is going off into a complaint about the new Nintendo platformers. When they first came out with the DS Mario ones, and I totally lost track of the naming convention.
I think it's like New Super Mario's New Brothers U.
I believe, yeah, but no, it's New Super Mario New Brother DS.
3D U Galaxy.
3D, yeah, that's it. But then I forget which one. But the big gimmick, and they always feel obligated to throw in a gimmick, is that there's like a super mushroom that makes Mario the size of the screen.
Uh-huh.
And you get it, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna tear shit up.
Get high as fuck on that mushroom.
That's the implication, isn't it?
I guess.
But basically, all right, you get the giant mushroom, you grow up to the entire size of the screen, and you walk to the right, and that's it. Everything just like is destroyed as you walk past it. And they're just kind of the dumbest thing. Like this was their big gimmick. It was like, guys, you get this thing, and you just like, oh, go Godzilla over Goombas. And I don't know. Anyway, the reason I bring that up is because Kirby Triple Deluxe has kind of a similar thing where there's a hyper fruit that you eat.
That gives you mega suck powers.
Yes.
Oh, you're not kidding.
No. I was like, do I think it's something? Do I try to think something clever here? No, that's exactly what it is. And you get basically the ability to suck up the screen. I will say there's at least a little more creativity with it. It's not just moving left to right. But I mean, it's a fun game. Obviously, kind of in the tank for Nintendo and their platformers. But no, it's a lot of fun. It really reminds me of the old Kirby games, which is really what I want when I buy one.
Nice.
But how about you? What have you been up to?
I played some more Metal Gear. We talked about it mostly in the last podcast, but I said I'd give periodic updates. I've gotten up to the Psycho Mantis fight, which in my estimation is the point where you start to depart from the overblown action movie story and just go crazy batshit nuts with it, which is really, it's like mechanically interesting to look at because I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to give too many spoilers for it, just in case there are people out there who have not experienced it. But man, that they sort of use this one encounter to play with like the concept of video games in that
it breaks the fourth wall. I'll say that.
Yeah, and you have no idea what's going on. And I had wondered how the digital version would be handling that on the PS3, but since the PS3 emulates memory cards and controller ports, the encounter remains relatively intact. So I've only gone through it once. I need to get back and actually beat it, but I think that's like the halfway point of the game. You think?
Yeah, I think that's at that point it becomes more. I would say a little less about sneaking and more about like sort of boss encounter.
Okay, so you've beaten Metal Gears, right?
Oh no, I'm a fan. Obviously, the original Metal Gear Solid. I'll give you another embarrassing story about my video game childhood. When I first got the Metal Gear Solid, it was the demo disc. I'm going off track again. Okay, so when I first started playing it, I was kind of new to I'm gonna say real video games. I had a SNES, I had an NES, but this was the PlayStation. This was me trying to figure out adult type game. All right, long story short, too late. I could not figure out how to choke dudes.
It took me a while too.
and it got to the point where I think someone at school told me how. Like, no, you keep pressing the square button. I'm not sure. I don't really remember.
Yeah, you gotta mash the square button.
And yeah, I couldn't do it fast enough. Like, I just wasn't skilled enough to kill people in this game. So I played the opening area probably dozens of times, and I had such a bad opinion of the game because I couldn't get past it. And it wasn't until I could finally like, oh, you can actually knock him out or kill him or whatever you want to think about. That it was like, oh, all right, this is actually a good game. It's not just a matter of, it's not a try to kill someone, run under a box and hide until the alarm goes away simulator.
I played a lot of Project Cars last week.
Oh, how does that run?
So, Project Cars is a weird game. I would actually, and this is a weird opinion to have about it, it is not a racing game.
Really?
Yeah. It is a motorsports simulator. I wouldn't call it a racing game because it does not have all of the hooks of your typical racing game, either your arcade or your sim style, your Gran Turismos or your Forzas, because in those games, in Gran Turismos and Forzas, I would say, 50% of the career mode is normal races with like road cars and, run of the mill, maybe top end of like what consumers can buy cars. There's another 25% of like mini games and like license challenges and weird like special one-off races. And then the last 25% is for crazy people who like driving F1 cars. So
I like how you pause to let me do like the Ed McMahon. What kind of game is it? And I just totally missed my cue. But go on.
That's okay. I give you a pass because you're addled right now.
I'm a little slow. I apologize.
The Project Cars is entirely that last 25%. The career mode is you sign up with a sponsor and you go through any one of 8 seasons of a particular racing series, starting with karts, which are weird, and going all the way up to their Formula One equivalent.
So that does sound a little bit like the Gran Turismo series.
Except that Gran Turismo, you sort of start at the bottom and you're collecting money in cars going all the way up to the top of that series.
Oh, I'm sorry. And this one just starts you at the very tippy top.
Well, the career, there's no money, there's no earning cars. Everything is unlocked from the start. And you just sort of sign up to do like a racing series, essentially. There's kart, there's touring cars, there's Formula One, but I mean, it is all basically like racing in the motorsport sense. Whereas Gran Turismo, the first like half of that career mode is you could do it in like a beat up Vauxhall or a Volkswagen.
You're literally getting your driver's license for the first part of that game.
Yeah, literally, you have to get your driver's license in order to do certain races.
That game does not trust you enough with with its virtual property. So,
all that being said, it's a very good game. Well, I don't know if I would say it's a very good game. Very good game. It is a competent racing simulator, but it is for that top end. It is not an all-rounder with even any little bits of arcadiness.
So you'd call yourself maybe a casual racing fan, though?
Yeah, mostly because I just don't have the equipment to really get into it. Like, I'm playing with an Xbox controller, and the triggers do not allow for the fine control that you'd need to actually keep the top-end Formula cars on the road. If you give it too much gas off the line, you're just going to spin out. It's really hard to control with, an analog or a trigger that has maybe a 1/4 inch of pull.
Okay, I think the key to that is you have to start the acceleration after the Lokito does the second light, and then you get the boost as you start.
See, I'm kind of glad you brought that up, because the fidelity to
I was like, there are turtle shells in this game too.
No, the fidelity to motorsports in Project Cars is incredible. You can just go on red. Like, when it loads up, how it does a 3, 2, 1 that holds, then you go. You can go whenever you want. You just put it into gear and gas it. You'll get a penalty and you'll be disqualified. But what that means is, if you time it right between the last red light and the green light, you can cheat.
Ooh.
And get away with it.
I enjoy
which is crazy.
Little touches like that.
Yeah, it's if you like motorsports and you've got a racing wheel, this is a great game for you. If you're more of a casual racing fan and you actually like the progression of buying your cars as you go, I don't know, maybe wait a little bit until they add more content. I think they're still working on stuff for it, but I mean, it's not a perfect game. The sound mixing is very bad. All of the audio of the cars is not great, and the AI is disappointing. You looking forward to anything, Mike?
I was looking at the release schedule, and I saw Splatoon comes out next week.
Yeah, that really snuck up on you. I remember they just announced it about this time last year.
Yeah, if you're not familiar, it's a Nintendo first-person shooter, really a multiplayer arena.
Is it first
game.
person? I thought it was third person.
I don't know. I remember seeing it as like a first person, although when I looked up trailers, it was all third person.
Okay.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe
it's a shooter,
first person.
basically.
It is. Yeah, it's a shooter. It's less deathmatch focused. Really, the point is to paint the arena in your team's color. So it's a team-based shooter where you're shooting paint guns.
I mean, it looks really colorful. It looks really cool, and it is like the gameplay loop is inventive in that genre. It's certainly Nintendo's shit.
Yeah, and I was gonna say it's a new IP. It's developed by Nintendo. Squids seem to be prominently involved. I'm not really sure why.
Yeah, they're weird squid hybrid lady
yeah.
dudes.
They kind of missed an opportunity, I think, to make the cover like a squid doing the classic like Willem Dafoe Platoon, like no, but you know. Other than that, I think it looks. I mean, it's extremely intriguing, and you know, it comes out. Of course, since Nintendo comes out, I think on like a Friday. I think next Friday.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving that a try. I mean.
Yeah, and I mean that's really if you have a Wii U, you probably have it for the multiplayer anyway, and that's really what it looks like. It's just a really solid looking multiplayer experience. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I'd be excited to see like what if Nintendo can get their shit together and make a proper like online system where you can talk to other consoles remotely. I don't know if they've ever gotten their stuff together with that.
Well, no, I mean the Mario Kart Online works very well.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's no voice chat. I believe this one is online. They turned off the voice when you're online.
Well, I imagine that's intentional because
yeah, definitely.
The audience for that game does not seem to be people that need to talk. You need to talk to.
Oh yeah, and I mean for the Mario Kart and those games, you basically have a list of pre-selected greetings you choose, and you say everyone's me on the world, and it's pretty well done, I think.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that does for them. See if that weird little experiment, I mean, for them going against their mold actually is successful. Yeah,
definitely. So what else is coming up, Chris?
Well, next month will be the Electronics 3's press conferences and convention in Los Angeles. And I just sort of wanted to, since this is it's a big deal in gaming because it's when all of the major announcements get leaked right before.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So
I remember being so excited about E3.
Yeah, it certainly used to be a big deal, and I think it's sort of coming back around now that I guess in this point in the cycle, a lot of big games are supposed to be announced essentially. So. A couple weird, unique things for this E3 is that Bethesda is having their own press conference events. So normally the press conferences are Sony, Microsoft, Ubisoft, Activision, EA. Well, now Bethesda's doing their own, and then there is a PC-focused one as well. I have no idea who's actually running that since it's not a specific company.
I assume it's just Gabe Newell and poorly thought out mustache and glasses disguise.
Yeah, well, no, I don't think Valve would even show up because they have their own developer conference.
Hey, guys, hear about that Steam box?
Yeah, they have their own developer conference in Seattle. I don't think they go anywhere. Basically, they don't really really participate in conventions. You know, from all the PAXs we've been at, Valve never shows anything off.
Nah, they're too good for us.
Yeah, so Bethesda's got a weird slate of games that are likely to be announced, such as Fallout 4, Doom. They're going to talk about Doom. They've already announced that they're going to talk about Doom because they released that 4-second trailer. Did you see that?
I did not see that.
So they released a trailer, which is the Doom logo for a couple of seconds. Then, like, 4 seconds of maybe gameplay footage, you can't really tell, and then the Doom logo for 7 more seconds.
Oh, all right. You really should have taped a flashlight to that gun then, maybe.
It looked fairly bright.
Oh, okay.
That
was an old joke that people will not get.
Yeah. That game is now
pretty Doom old 3?
Now. Doom 3, yeah, that's old. But yeah, no, Doom, they'll talk about Doom. They'll probably announce Fallout 4. There were a couple of big leaks about artists who had worked on cinematic trailers for it. So that is likely, I think. There's also whatever Arcane Studios, the people that made Dishonored, are working on, because they haven't released a game in a while, and maybe the 6th Elder Scrolls game, since they haven't done one of those in a while.
That's just a rumor, though. There's no real.
Yeah, well, it's more like well, we know that they have these big properties that they put out with regularity, and it's been X number of years since they have released a game for these, so it's likely that they've either been working on them or are, getting ready to announce one. So probably Fallout 4, definitely Doom, maybe Dishonored or Elder Scrolls.
So of those 4 possibilities, which one would you be most excited to get a look at?
Oh, probably Fallout 4. Yeah, because I really liked Fallout 3 and New Vegas, so I kind of want to see where they go next. Hopefully it's just not more of the same, and that they actually go somewhere interesting.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I really kind of respect what they did with Fallout 3. I'm glad you still kind of had that Wasteland 2 to get my Fallout 2 kick.
Yeah.
But, 3 was just a really well done game.
It was, and it was enormous.
Bold statements made on this podcast.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what they actually show off. Definitely Doom 4. What else? We don't know. Also, this is going to be the big conference for VR stuff, since Oculus recently announced a date for when their kit is going to come out. It's going to come out in 2016 sometime. Probably in the first half of the year. So that is definite. They have said that they are done with the retail version. So what is likely to happen at E3 is that they sort of detail, what comes in the box, and maybe we'll get a price point. They've announced like the specs, the minimum specifications for running it, and they are fairly high. You need at least a 970 graphics card, NVIDIA graphics card to run it. But you've got time. I mean, you've got another year probably until it actually is available to purchase. So
Oculus is just making hardware, correct? I mean, they're not gonna.
They have their own development studios that they've been working with. That is something that they've been touting, is that in addition to making sure the hardware is good, they have also been like bringing in software developers and working directly with developers to get product out. So it's likely if they talk about games, that we'll see sort of what their slate is going to be for the release, which is the critical part. I'm probably down for an Oculus retail kit probably next year. When that happens, because I'm interested in seeing what happens there. So
what is the base price point? Have they said that?
No, they have not.
Okay, but they'll probably going to actually announce that.
They might. I think more likely you'll get a look at some of the games that they're working on and sort of get an idea of what comes in the box.
Okay. What's your magic number? What price point would you not?
I'd say 300 is probably the most I'd pay for one.
All right, I was kind of had the same number in my head.
Yeah,
I was thinking like 250, 300.
If you look at it like a piece of gaming accessory hardware, that's the region for it. It's basically like getting another console, essentially. But I would have to do a computer upgrade between now and then, so the actual cost of purchasing it is going to end up being much higher if you have to upgrade along the way. But yes, E3 next month. We'll probably have a couple of leaks between now and then that we'll get to talk about. I mean, apart from the Bethesda stuff, I can't think of anything that is like super big deal that might get announced. I mean, EA has already talked about Mirror's Edge, the new Mass Effect, and the new Battlefront, which looks like disappointment. Activision, I have no idea what they're working on. Probably the next Destiny stuff, more Destiny stuff. Nintendo usually does their own. They're doing their own like separate
They
event.
don't even do a press conference anymore, right?
Well, they do one of their big Nintendo Directs.
Oh, okay.
And then they'll have Mario Maker at Best Buys that week that you can go play.
Oh, okay.
So that's pretty cool. But yeah, I can't think of anything. I mean, they'll probably announce the new Star Fox game that they've been teasing forever. Maybe a new Metroid. I don't know. Maybe they'll have some firmer details on the new Zelda game. But I mean, this is all stuff that is known that they're working on. So
yeah, probably nothing earth-shattering, unfortunately.
We'll see, and we'll probably check back in with it if there's any big news between now and then, and probably do a recap afterwards to see, like, take the temperature of the room. All right, well, thanks for listening. If you've made it this far, do us a favor and spread us around. It's the only way that we can grow the audience of the show, and I definitely want more people to hear it. So thank you again for listening, and we will see you next week. Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button to see more videos. If you like the videos, please share them with your friends. If you got feedback for me, go ahead and leave it in the comments below. You can follow me on Twitter at fractruck_games for the latest updates and notifications when new videos go up. And thus, dear viewer, I bid you adieu. Good night.
Alright, is that better? I'm trying to move the mic away from my mouth.
That's good. Just do breathing when you're not cued, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's probably a good idea.
You gotta Taizande that shit.
Oh god, I got that reference.
I know. It's a multiple-year-old reference now.
Oh man.
Isn't that sad? Because YouTube's 10 years old.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, these kids these days don't respect their Leroy Jenkins.
Oh, well, yeah, they'll never get their chicken.